Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, it's and Rye, and today we're back with an Australian movie, Australian horror, as we like to go with it, called "You Never Find Me." It's a movie directed by Indiana Bell and Josiah Allen, starring Brandon Rock and Jordan Cohen. It's a story about this young girl that comes to the house quite isolated of an older person, an older man, knocks on his door during a pretty heavy rainstorm. The tension is pretty much instant, and we discover pretty much a lot of things as they are talking and going through the motions.
And you knocked on the wrong
I
door.
yeah, eventually that's what you're gonna find out. I really
Or
enjoyed
did
it.
she? Yeah, same. It not just the acting and the screenplay, but even some of the technical aspects of the film, which I've got a bit of a list of things that I noticed
I
with just the tech.
Yeah, I like the way it looks. I like
Yep.
the framing of
Yep.
the camera movements, how it pans, the angles that they chose when
Yep.
it's coming from above, then it's shifting to from below, and you understand because you're following the emotional journey or how they are thinking. It's very clever in the choice that they are making. It's not just to wow you with clever shots or something. It actually has a meaning, and they are
Yep.
in a single location, and they keep
Yeah.
you entertained from beginning to end.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously you've got your setting. It's like a very small cabin. So it's set in an Australian caravan park. So I don't know if any of our listeners are from Australia. You've obviously got your just your caravans, and then you've got cabins which are there all the time. So
Yeah.
they're basically built into the ground, and this is where the man lives. It's got this very old aesthetic. It's almost like you've stepped back into the 1980s. Basically, it's got a very, I would say, a very nice character towards it. It becomes a character of the
Yeah.
film itself, because it's
Mm.
and there's a bit of foreshadowing in the film where the young lady who has knocked on the door, she's trying to get out of a rainstorm. It's 2 a.m. She needs to go call home, but there's this horrible, weird thunderstorm that's going overhead. She keeps on looking down the corridor, and she can see like these blinds blocking the bedroom, and you're wondering why is she's really focused on that. And I don't know if
Yeah.
you can see in my because we're going to put our shorts up, that we've got my photo up here, where it's basically it's this long corridor. And towards the end of the movie, you find out what's in that corridor and who has once upon a time been in that corridor. We'll get into that. Yeah, it's like it's almost very homey, but it's very, I
Yeah.
found it.
Yeah, it has this very timeless feel to it. It can be modern day in something that is a bit more outdated. We can be in the 90s. There is like a mobile phone towards the end, but otherwise there is actually not much technology as well.
No.
And the way it is shot, it is quite slow moving, and I usually don't like it, but this one worked because I think it's deliberate that it is slow to build the tension. And I
Yeah.
think there is quite a bit of difference when you're using slowness to pad your runtime, or you're actually using it to make it more impactful and build tension. And this one did the latter.
Yeah, it's even the way he moves as well. Did you notice, like when
Mm.
when she first arrives, I'll go get your towel, and he just slowly walks down the corridor, and you've
Yeah.
obviously got that the sound of him, blub blub blub. It's like,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the movie, when obviously things have quite escalated, that's when he starts talking fast. He starts moving fast. It's a 180. It shifts gears
Yeah. The
almost instantly, and
climax.
then
the climax is not slow at all. It's quite fast
No,
paced, actually. Yeah.
yeah. The lighting of the film is
Mm,
really well done. So you're in this little
yes.
cabin, it's 2 a.m. So we've only got these like very low lights, which are kind of lighting them. At one stage, the light actually goes out because there's so much lightning outside.
Mm,
You get the lightning coming from outside, and then they're in a blackout where it's, they're lit by very very low light. Then it's just like, it's just extraordinarily well achieved. They've managed to get this, but this technical aspect
yeah.
is very,
And it's not a big budget movie. I mean, every cent that they had went into doing something really great and making it go, as every dollar is going the extra mile,
yeah.
which I really admire. No wastage.
I'll talk a little bit more about the camera work. I loved how it
Yeah.
focused on the just the ordinary. It'll just
Mm,
pan towards the roof. It'll pan towards the door. It
yeah.
focuses on their drinks, the cards,
Hmm.
their hands, the doorknobs. One thing I absolutely loved was how it did in Silence of the Lambs, where the characters are looking towards the cameras as they're talking to each other. So they're having a
Yeah.
conversation, but the actor is looking deadpan into the camera. It did that a lot. It had a very Silence of the Lambsy kind of camera work, kind of,
Yeah,
to me,
it's
it did
true.
anyway.
Yeah, and they make the shot how the characters are framed. For example, there is a shot that came to mind where you see him and he's shot from the top of his head down to near his belt. And it's
Yep.
a weird shot. Usually it is now not how you would frame someone. Either you would frame their face or you would frame them maybe down to their torso, but or you would frame them like, for the full person if you want to show the surroundings, but you wouldn't just frame the half a person. It adds to the uncomfortable weirdness
Yeah.
of the place. And they do that quite often in the way that it's shot. It's like it feels very atypical of how you will shoot a movie, and it gives a bit of ill at ease feeling, which is very fitting for this movie.
Yeah, because obviously there's a few times where they're walking towards the camera and they're out of focus, and as they walk in towards the camera, they
Yeah,
go into focus. That was pretty cool as well.
yeah,
One very small moment that I just thought was absolutely phenomenal is that mobile phone that we're talking about, which kind of does bring it rooted into kind of now era.
yeah,
It's ringing down in the corridor, and she can see it flashing, and then it's an ultra close shot of her and her eyes, and the phone is reflected in her eyes. I
yeah,
thought that was so well done.
yeah,
Just because obviously they've got to remove the camera that they've kind of shot her on in post production. It just was very very. I liked that. That's very good.
yeah. It was great. I have to say, at the beginning, I just didn't really know where it was going, and I thought that I was not gonna like it just because it doesn't feel natural. The interaction, you feel this is not how normal people would speak or act or
Yep.
react. It felt a bit like a Shyamalan movie, not a good one, not The Sixth Sense, but it feels like, I don't know, Old or Lady in the
Yep.
Water or Signs, even like when it just has this very forced feeling of like
Yeah.
this is not how people act. But then as
Yeah.
it
Especially.
progressed, yeah, it makes more
Yeah,
sense, and I really liked it.
yeah, especially some of the conversations they have in like they it's very rooted in like, it's just so deep and meaningful. Just they're talking about
Yeah,
marriages and how he can't sleep and what are they both kind of hiding from. And it didn't get
yeah,
to like an hour into the film where he goes, "Oh, I'm Patrick," and then
yeah,
but she never introduces herself because obviously what's to come.
yeah. It's true. Well, the dialogues are actually pretty deep. The conversations, the themes that they are bringing, and it's almost philosophical in the way that they
Yeah,
are bringing, and it's deep conversation. I mean, it's not just fluff and nice words put together to make it. It's actually okay. Well, I think about that. I keep thinking about
yeah.
that. It's actually quite deep. I like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very conversation heavy. There is a bit of foreshadowing earlier in the film,
Yeah.
obviously with her looking down the corridor. I don't know if that's something we want to get into just yet. Is that something that?
Yeah, we'll want spoilers, turn it off
Yep.
if you watch it, then come back.
So the whole movie is essentially in his head because at the beginning of the film, he has taken the GHB, evidently, and he's basically imagined this whole conversation with her because she was his first murder victim because he's a serial killer. And that was like, oh, that's a surprise. I would have liked that reveal earlier. If I was going to be, if I could ask for more, I'd probably would have liked that reveal a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's a nitpick. I didn't hate the ending and the reveal. I wanted a bit of something else, I guess, because there is this scene when they are playing the card game. And I felt that this scene is where things are shifting a little bit. That at the beginning, it feels the one bit out of place and a bit weird. And you start warming up to him throughout the movie. And during the card game, you're warming up to him a bit more. And you feel that she's the one a bit weird because it's 2 a.m. You said you were on the beach, but you were not on the beach. You said you were on the bar. There was the stuff about you live in a house or you're just a tourist. And you're like, okay, well, actually, is that her? That's is
and how
weird.
Did you
and
get
at
in
the
here?
end, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was like,
the gates are locked.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that it was going to shift towards, oh, she's the villain or she has an agenda and he's actually the victim. I thought it was going to shift this way. And I was looking forward to, okay, how are you going to pull that off and how are you going to tell the story? If they had pulled that off, I would have liked that better than a fever dream about his first victim. But I did not hate the ending. I thought it was all right. It was a good finish.
Yeah, especially since quite a lot of it, there are moments where it's focused on her. So we're like, when he goes out to fix the roof, where something's knocked down and he's gone outside, that's when she goes down and she finds another dead body. It's like, oh, then, but if it's his fever dream, why is it from her point of view? That kind of didn't make sense because in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. I mean, it's this kind of the thing as well, because if it's a fever dream, at the end of the day, you can do anything. You know what I mean? It's I usually don't really like that, but I think they didn't abuse it. Didn't really use it as a crutch to finish their story. It was actually, I think they had this idea from the start anyway. But that was good. I think maybe what was missing is because he's a serial killer, because he has killed people, you want him to have a reckoning that is not by his own hand. You want one of the victims to get out of here and bash him, and maybe it would be a bit more enjoyable. But, it's quite unique and it's quite different. So I respect that.
Yeah, especially because when I didn't know that it was the fever dream, and he spoke about how he's waiting for the blue and red flashing lights to show up one day. And then when he's having his little panic attack, the blue and red lights flash up. I'm like, well, that's convenient, isn't it? But then it turns out that it's actually, it's all in his head. Maybe could have ended with the blue and red flashing lights turning up as he dies. Because, sorry, spoiler, we allege he is going to die at the end because he's obviously taken a lethal dose of drugs. So you assume he's going to die. Really good. At times I forgot that I was watching an Aussie movie as well because it was just all those technical aspects. It was just so well made. You kind of forget you're watching an Aussie movie. It's just, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, no, it's well done. Everything, even the acting of the two, especially him, like, really shines.
Two people I've never heard of as well, so I've never really seen either of their work from.
All right, should we go into scores, or do you have anything?
No, I think I've added everything I really wanted to write. Let's go.
All right, I start and I kick it off with a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I'm very proud that this is an Aussie movie. They really poured their heart and soul into making it, because of the way it looks, because how it's acted, how it's written, how it's just telling the story. It's a really enjoyable story. It's very, if you're into psychological horror, Watch it. You will not regret it. It's a great movie, and I think it really deserves to be discovered. Those directors need to do more of that work, and I want to see those actors in more things as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, agree. 4 out of 5. I was pleasantly surprised. I think Australia does some very good horror work, and it never leaned into that silly supernatural because there's a reason for everything that happens in the course of the film. There's a reason why.
It doesn't lean into jump scares with the screeching music, or no, actually manages to scare you without that.
Absolutely.
Not an easy feat.
And it ties everything up as well. Kind of doesn't really leave any loose ends to me. So I thought, really good job. I have to keep an eye on these directors in the future.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. If you haven't seen this movie, give it a watch. It's a real pleasure to watch. Let us know if you did, what you thought of it in the comments. Give us a like, give us a follow, drop us a comment. Always helps with the algorithm. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.